Right now, there is an important deadline that many seniors are not paying enough attention to, and it's April 15th. And here's why this matters more than you might think. If certain taxes, forms, or payments are missed or delayed, it can quietly start a chain of events that leads to penalties, growing debt, and in serious cases, legal claims against your property. And for some people, if these issues continue long enough without being addressed, it can eventually put their home at risk. Now I want to say something clearly so you don't panic. This does not happen overnight. The IRS does not suddenly take someone's home without warning. But here's the problem. Many seniors don't realize there's an issue until it has already grown into something much bigger than it needed to be. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what this April 15th deadline really means, who it affects, where people make costly mistakes, and most importantly, what you should do right now to protect yourself and your income. Let's start with the basics, because this is where most confusion begins. April 15th is the federal tax filing deadline in the United States. And every year, millions of Americans are required to file a tax return. But many seniors believe that once they retire, or once Social Security becomes their main source of income, they no longer need to file taxes. Sometimes that's true, but many times it's not. And this is where things get complicated in a way that isn't always explained clearly. If your only income is Social Security and it stays below certain limits, you may not need to file. But the moment you have additional income, even small amounts, the situation changes. That additional income could include a pension, withdrawals from a retirement account like a 401k or IRA, part-time work, rental income, or even certain types of investment income. And once those are added together, you may cross a threshold where filing is required. Here's the problem. Many people don't realize they've crossed that threshold, and because of that, they don't file. Let me give you a real-life example, so this makes sense. I spoke with someone I'll call Carol. Carol is 70 years old. She receives Social Security and a small pension from a job she worked many years ago. She also started taking small withdrawals from her retirement savings to help with rising costs. To her, it didn't feel like a lot of money, so she assumed she didn't need to file taxes. For 2 years, she didn't file. She didn't hear anything at first. But then one day, she received a notice. And then another. By the time she realized what was happening, penalties and interest had already been added. And this is where things begin to escalate. Here's the problem most people don't see coming. When the IRS believes you owe taxes, they begin tracking the amount. If it goes unpaid, they can add penalties, then interest. And over time, that balance grows. If it continues long enough without being resolved, the IRS can place a legal claim on your property. This is called a lien. That doesn't mean they take your home right away, but it does mean they now have a claim tied to your property. And if the situation continues to go unresolved, it can lead to more serious collection actions. Now, this is where many seniors start to feel overwhelmed, because by the time they understand what's happening, the amount has grown and they don't know where to start. But here's something very important I want you to understand. There are multiple opportunities to fix this before it ever reaches that point. The key is taking action early. Now here's where things get even more important. Even if you cannot afford to pay what you owe, filing your tax return on time is still critical. Because there are 2 types of penalties. One is for not filing. The other is for not paying. And the penalty for not filing is usually higher. This means that even if you can't pay, filing still protects you from larger penalties. This is where many people make a mistake. They delay filing because they're worried about the payment. But that delay actually makes the situation worse. Now here's something else you need to be aware of. Tax season is one of the busiest times for scams, and seniors are often targeted. You might receive a phone call, email, or message claiming to be from the IRS. They may say things like, "You owe money immediately. Your benefits are at risk. Your property could be taken if you don't act now." They will try to create fear and urgency. But here's the truth. The IRS does not call you out of nowhere demanding immediate payment. They do not ask for gift cards, wire transfers, or unusual forms of payment. If something feels rushed or threatening, it's likely a scam. Always verify directly through official IRS contact methods. Now let's talk about who is most at risk in this situation. This affects seniors who have multiple sources of income, have not filed taxes in previous years, have taken withdrawals from retirement accounts, have had taxes withheld incorrectly, or simply are unsure about their filing requirements, it also affects people who may have ignored IRS notices because they didn't understand them. And that happens more often than you think. Now here's what you should do right now, step by step. First, determine whether you are required to file a tax return this year. If you're unsure, don't guess. Check using IRS tools or speak with a trusted tax professional. Second, if you are required to file, do it before the deadline. Even if you cannot pay everything, filing on time reduces penalties. Third, if you already missed the deadline, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. The sooner you respond, the more options you have. Fourth, if you owe money and cannot pay, the IRS offers payment plans. These plans allow you to pay over time in smaller amounts. For many seniors, this can make the situation manageable. Fifth, keep all your records organized. Save your documents, notices, and any communication with the IRS. Write down dates, names, and what was discussed. This can protect you if there are questions later. Now for caregivers and family members, this is where you play an important role. Many seniors don't realize they need to file. Others feel overwhelmed and avoid dealing with it. Sitting down with them, reviewing their income, and helping them take action can prevent serious problems later. Even one conversation can make a difference. Now let's step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture. The IRS system is not designed to immediately punish people. It is designed to collect taxes and enforce rules. And for people who are trying to do the right thing, there are options. There are payment plans. There are ways to resolve issues. There are opportunities to correct mistakes. But those options are only available if you take action. The real risk comes from delay, from ignoring letters, from assuming the problem will go away, because it doesn't. But the good news is this: you still have time, you still have control, and you still have options. Take a few minutes this week and ask yourself, do I need to file this year? Have I received any notices I haven't responded to? Do I understand my income and whether it is taxable? If something feels unclear, don't ignore it. Ask questions. Get help, because small steps now can prevent big problems later. And most importantly, remember this: you have worked your entire life. You have earned your income. You deserve stability, security, and peace of mind, not unnecessary stress. So take action now. Stay informed and protect what you've built. Because when you understand how the system works, you stay in control. And that makes all the difference.